All right. Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Hope everybody had a good weekend. I know it's Tuesday, but we are back for Magic. So, tonight we have a modern tournament coming up next week or next month. I think it's like the last weekend in April or something like that. April 24th, something, I don't know, somewhere in there. And it's modern, and we've been playing a lot of Pioneer lately, but I'm trying to decide what should be played. So I'm gonna start just playing a bunch of random modern things to see if they're any good or if it's something that I like. And this is an oldie but a goodie, something I haven't played in a long time. And by a long time I mean like 8 months. This is mono white tokens in modern. And the last time I played it, I think I went 3-2 with the deck. It seems really good in the right meta game. If you play against Burn a lot, it's great. But there are a lot of bad matchups. Anything running like Supreme Verdict, Wrath of God type effects, it does not seem great against. But it has a little bit of play and maybe some work around here. So this is the only list I've ever seen for this, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump right in here. It's literally just tokens with Anthem effects. Venerated Loxodon puts counters on everything. Force of Virtue is an instant speed way to buff your creatures. Battle Screech makes tokens with flashback. And Intangible Virtue gives all of your token creatures +1/+1 in vigilance. And Gideon is an Anthem effect that also makes tokens or attacks for big chunks of damage. In the sideboard, we have some pretty. I mean, it's the same sideboard I ran like almost a year ago. So it's 4 Auriok champions, good against anything red or black, or honestly just like a really good card in general. If you need to gain life, Damping Sphere is great against Tron. It's really good against Amulet Titan if you play against something like that. It's also really good against Storm if we see that. Rest in Peace also just has many good applications. It's good against Dredge. It's good against anything running out of the graveyard. So there's a lot of like tier 2, tier 3 decks that Rest in Peace is really good against. And Disenchant's just a great card. Really helps pick things off. And Unbreakable Formation is how we play around sweepers, such as Supreme Verdict, Wrath of God, Deafening Clarion, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and jump in a league here. I'm interested to see how this goes. I haven't played the deck in a long time, so with mono white tokens. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to like find our games tonight. Hey mom, what's up? How are you? Have you had a busy week so far? I mean, with 1,400 active players, it shouldn't take too long to find a game, but hopefully we can find some games tonight. Oh, and for anybody who came and hung out last Sunday or last Saturday, we it has been crazy. Have fun tonight. Oh, well, I'm sorry you had a crazy week, but thanks, I appreciate it. Playing Magic, so I'm always having fun. Um, for anybody who come and hung out Saturday, on Saturday we finished 4-4 in the tournament, and we finished 74th. So I think we got like $10 in credit out of that. So that's basically just gonna go towards like one of my months of mana traders. So um, I mean, not super happy with the performance, but you know it's a free tournament, so happy to have had things in the way they did in some way. This hand seems good. We'll keep this. We're going to say play a plains and say go. Our opponent also keeps 7, no companion of note. They play an island. We're going to lead on Servo Exhibition here. Scries 1 card to the bottom. We make a couple tokens. Hmm. So not drawing a land here is not great, but we do get to hold up Raise the Alarm, which is pretty good. Cast Raise the Alarm. I imagine they'll counter this here. Mana Leak. No, we're not going to pay 3. We're going to go ahead and cast and exile Battle Screech. They have Force of Negation. It won't matter because it's their turn. Get in for 4. Say go here. If they have a... Okay, so it's Esper control. Not just blue-white control. Thought it was blue-white control, but Esper control makes more sense. Cast Raise the Alarm at the end of the turn here. Snap Mana Leak. Sure. No, we won't pay 3. Land here would be good. I guess that's also not bad. If they have Force of Negation here, just kind of is what it is. We're going to attack for 4. Play our Legion's Landing here, and then if nothing else, our Legion's Landing is can flip into a land if we need it to. So Force of Negation, our Legion's Landing. Okay. Sweeper here would be pretty bad. Teferi's fine. Draw a card, untap some lands. Watery Grave and Castle. Yeah, it's like it doesn't really matter. I was like, they've had counters the whole way so far. Nope. Probably have a Fatal Push here. Hang on one second, I'm getting a phone call. Alright. So, this game's turned out pretty poorly here. We're really just hoping our opponent drew a land here or something. And we need to draw a land. Opponent scries 2 here. Makes sense. Hopefully they just like bricked and drew a land. Drew a couple lands there so that we can have a chance to play our Gideon and get out of this. Scries 2 cards to the top. That's not good. Counterspell, we probably concede here. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. So, them drawing into a counterspell and not like a path is really bad for us here. But them putting 2 cards on top, yeah, we're just going to scoop them up here. So, we want Unbreakable Formation. Might be some part of us that wants Rest in Peace. I don't think so, though. Cut a couple past, leave a couple in, try it like this. Yeah, it seems fine. Felt like our hand was pretty good there. We just had a little bit of a slow start, so. Esper Control. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know what they bring in. Maybe they bring in like Kaya's Guile here. Making a sacker creature doesn't seem good, but gaining 4 life seems okay. I don't really feel like they want to exile our graveyard, but maybe they feel like they need to. I don't know. I mean, we can have some pretty like explosive draws. Yep, we'll be on the play. Yeah, we'll try this. It's not super explosive or anything, but it does it does have pretty good turn 2 and turn 3, especially with our opponent mulliganing like this. Play our planes and say go. Make a couple 1/1s here. I mean, they might force this. Force this into a mana leak actually doesn't seem bad for them. They're really thinking about it. Cast Spectral Procession here. Really wanted to be able to put Loxodon into play there. Our opponent does not have a second land. Cast by exiling a white card from your hand. I think we're just going to run all in on this here. Drawing one of our 2 paths wasn't great. Maybe they just have nothing they can do for 2 mana. I'm going to play the Canyon and say go. We don't need to commit anything else to the board. We have lethal here, so... Yep, Canyon into Canyon. Feels like they have a Snapcaster here. Sure. Take 3, go to 2. We still have lethal on the board. Plus we have Raise the Alarm and draw a card here. It's like they can't shock, which is actually kind of nice. They can't cast Archmage's Charm either. So, okay, Servo Exhibition is fine. They had another Fatal Push, okay. Gonna take a chance that they don't have a force here. Putting 2 lethal threats on the board again and just gonna say go. Tap our team, draw a card. I imagine anyway. Okay. This is a lethal threat, so we're actually just going to say go and then try to raise the alarm at the end of their turn here. They tap out for Teferi, they are dead. So we're going to cast Path here, get a Plains. We get to get a Plains off of our token dying, which is pretty good. And then we get to play Gideon here. I don't think they have Forest Blue card, but they might. Them having to beat Gideon here is really good for us. Because we're basically just never going to attack with Gideon. We're basically just going until the end of the game, just make 2/2s. Because like Path is just a blowout here, and I'm just not playing into that. Like they might not have Path, and they might just got away with one, but it's Gideon on the board can just win the game by itself over time. So yep, attack you for 4. No matter what they have here, we're just gonna. What is this, like Snap Cryptic? Sure. We need to find something to add to the board here. This is how we really start winning this game, is when we can put something else on the board with the Gideon to pump up the tokens. Creeping Tar Pit's pretty good for them. I mean, if they had if they were gonna have a land, like having Creeping Tar Pit is pretty good. Unbreakable Formation isn't exactly what we had in mind here, but to be fair, I haven't seen them play a path yet. Like, they might just be on pushes. Sure, bounce that back to my hand. Gonna fire at the Tar Pit to kill us this way. Get Gideon off the field. I mean, we've drawn nothing to go with our Gideon. Like, Gideon plus anything else to put on the field immediately wins us this game. Like, it's not even a question. Mystic Gate and Sunken Ruin in the same deck. That's just so interesting to me. Like, and our opponent's at 1. Like, so almost like any flash threat, like, wins us the game. Like, I mean, we've drawn 6, 8. We've drawn over half our lands and less than half our deck. Like, there's not much we can do about that. It is what it is. Yep. Well, it appears we're going to get a loss here because our deck was not kind to us. I still don't. I stand by the decision that it's not correct to attack with Gideon in that spot. I don't think there's any way for us to win the game from here. Like, even this dumb thing. Like maybe if they let it resolve and then like go for a removal spell or something. We'll pay for the mana leak, I guess. Like, yep. Like Gather the Townsfolk would have been phenomenal there. Um, like, eh, sorry. Yeah, this hand seems a little slow, but it seems fine. What is our opponent on? Luris. Hi and good luck. Hey, thanks for the bits. I appreciate you, baby. Inquisition of Kozilek, okay? It's probably going to take our Raise the Alarm, considering everything else is like 3 or 4 mana in our hand. Drawing Path is pretty good here. Normally Luris means Shadow in some way, so I'm pretty happy about seeing Path here. Alright, our opponent saw that we said that and was nice enough to reciprocate the response there. You know, a cool thing that you could probably do with this deck is play white-black tokens. Is to play black in some way. Alright, I truly have no idea what our opponent is on. Is this like Grixis Delver or something? Okay, Grixis Delver Shadow. Blue-black Delver Shadow, maybe? I don't know, man. Feels like our opponent could be on almost anything here. Path this. We more than likely, they're either going to get a swamp here or we get to see their third color. Like, yeah, swamp. Imagine they'll take the Spectral Procession here. Or the Gideon because they realize they can't be Gideon kind of thing. It's kind of like, you know, 6 and, like, you know, like half dozen in one basket, 6 in the other kind of thing. Take our Spectral Procession. Yep. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. So we need to draw a 2-drop and then draw a land. So we drew neither of the things that we wanted. I mean, we've been Thoughtseized to death here. Drawing Path is like okay because it helps us hold up against their threats, but we need to draw lands here to play our stuff. I guess we're just going to go ahead and run out our Intangible Virtue. They counter it, they counter it. Like, we have no tokens on the field, but we have to get something going. Brianborn Cutthroat. Okay. So this is like blue-black Delvery Flash stuff. Alright, I don't know what our opponent's up to, but I'm kind of into it if I'm being honest. It seems pretty sweet. Having an extra path to beat the Brianborn Cutthroat with is actually kind of nice. Delver, okay. Alright, we are drawing absolutely nothing that we need here. We're going to upkeep path our opponent's Brianborn Cutthroat after the Delver trigger. Thought Scour. Drown in the Lock. Mana Leak. Yeah, I mean, like, we're missing lands. Our opponent's deck has gotten out in front of us here. Like, I don't know if our opponent's deck is actually any good or not, but this is the concept behind what they're doing, so. Alright, we're probably dead here. I mean, I can't imagine a world where we're not just, like, you know, scooping them up here. Like, even if we draw, like, Servo Exhibition here, we're kind of, like, just chump. It'll land for us. Last game we drew like 12 and like 35 cards. In this game we're struggling to draw a third land, which is kind of weird because we're playing 21. Like we're playing a little bit of insurance with playing all the extra lands we are. So we're just dead here. A land was a little too late there. So we probably want Rest in Peace here. I imagine they're running Gurmag Angler of some kind. And I don't know if we want Auriok Champion. That seems a little over the top. Path seems really good. Loxodon seems okay. Spectral Procession seems great. Like, maybe we don't want so many anthems. Like, maybe we cut a Loxodon, a Force, a Virtue. Yeah, we'll just cut some anthems and try it. Because we want to be able to have as many creatures as possible. That's the hard thing about decks like this is that A, they have no reach, so it's all on your creatures, which I'm not a fan of. I like having burn spells as reach. And the other thing is that like with decks like this, you really need to draw a good mix of spells and like of creatures and anthems. So it's really hard to make decks like this function. This doesn't feel like a 20-second land deck, especially with the 4 Legions landings, but we've not had great draws to start the night, but that is quite all right. As soon as our opponent finishes sideboarding, we'll get going here. A Thought Scour is like a good cantrip, but it's also a good cantrip that feeds into um, Gurmag Angler, which is a key reason I think that Rest in Peace is so good. I think this hand's fine. I think we'll keep this. Plus, they're probably trying to play like Thought Scour Drown in the lock. Like they're probably trying to play like some kind of like graveyard synergy. So bringing in Rest in Peace also helps take that offline, which I'm a pretty big fan of. So having multiple removal spells here is really good. Gives us outs to not having sideboard cards and being able to deal with their threats. The thing about decks like this is that normally they want to play one threat and kind of protect it, have like 1 to 2 threats and try to win that in the game that way. Our opponent's on a mulligan, which is good for us. There's no days in this format, thank God. This would be a miserable matchup if it was, because our stuff's just gonna tap out and hope it's good enough. Whoa. What's that is Intangible Virtue from Innistrad? So you can't play that in Pioneer. I bet red-white tokens could be pretty sweet in Pioneer. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that I've ever tried it, but I feel like it could be pretty good. We'll 2 instead of 6ing here because we want to, in case our opponent just slams a Delver or something here, we want to be able to hold up Path. So it's a good thing about playing white is that you just get to run like running a mono white deck is that you're kind of obligated to run 4 Path, and Path is like it's just such a good removal spell. I feel like the tokens deck in that format would have to be a lot different. Lead on Thoughtseize again. Okay. Probably take one of our token producers or take an Anthem, I imagine. Probably just going to try and keep as much stuff off the board as they can here. Hopefully they're not playing like Plague Engineer or some shit on their sideboard. They can't be. They have Lurrus. That's right. They can be playing Plague Engineer, but they revealed Lurrus, which means they do not have Plague Engineer in their deck, which is nice. I mean, we make all kinds of different tokens, so it's not like the end of the world, but at the same time, like, you also don't want that. I feel like they're debating between taking our Anthem and taking our creatures. And taking, like, our token generation, so... You know, a deck, like, something you could play is Toolcraft Exemplar in a deck like this and try to get busy. I don't know, it plays a lot of... I guess it just plays a lot of Anthem effects. I feel like adding more 1-drops to, like, what you're trying to accomplish would be really good. We're just going to lead on this. Hopefully there's no force here. Drawing a third path wasn't exactly what we wanted, but it basically means that they'll never like have a threat against us. They also might be playing shadows. It's hard to tell. So we have a path they don't know about. Yep. Play Gather the Townsfolks. Gather the Townsfolk. Maybe they just want a mana leak here. It's hard to tell. Okay. They're probably going to flash in Cutthroat here. And if they do, we're just going to counter it. Like, we're just going to path it here. I'm not, like, taking any chances, letting this thing stick around. Because, like, this is how you lose a game. Ooh, they did not search for a basic. That's interesting. Means they either have a swamp and an island in their hand, or they misclicked. So there's the swamp. Something tells me that wasn't a misclick. So they know that we have one path in our hand. So they don't know about the last path in our hand, which is good. Like we really don't want to be like letting them have all the information, but they're probably also, if they have a shadow in their hand, they played that in some way to get us to use it so that they could just go for it. So opt, okay. Puts one card on the bottom of their library, sure. Is this a shadow? Is this a Thoughtseize? Okay. Going to 7. Need to have something pretty good here. Shadow, maybe? Yeah, it is Shadow. Okay. Put Luris into your hand. Our opponent's probably not too happy that we drew a third path here, but it is what it is, opponent. We get to put them to 3. They have Luris in their hand. We're just going to play Spectral Procession here. Makes 3 flyers. We put them to 3. We have 3 in the air. And having Path here has also been great just because like there's no way for them to like actually get their stuff back with Luris here, so alright, cool. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Rest in Peace seems medium. Like Rest in Peace doesn't seem amazing or anything. I'm also retarded because I just realized they can't play Gurmag Angler in their deck because they're playing Luris, but um Yeah, bring in some more anthems. Cut a Rest in Peace, cut a Battle Screech. Try it like this. This hand's good. We have a real curve here, so as long as our opponent doesn't completely pick our hand apart, which is possible, this hand's really solid. So our opponent keeps 7. We're also going to keep 7. Drawing a land is pretty good. Play Legion's Landing. They might have Fatal Push here. They might have like a Spell Pierce or something. Yeah, in decks like this, it's hard to tell. Like they could be playing like soft counter spells like that. So another land Sego is interesting. We're gonna attack here and see what they do. I mean, nothing they can flash in is gonna be super relevant. So we're gonna put more things on the board here. Interesting. I'm hoping this isn't like Drown in Sorrow effect or something like that. Could be though. It's hard to tell. They could have just been waiting for me to tap out and do something so that they can flash in or cut throat with it with ease here. Yeah. We really need another turn to like get going here. Just like some kind of like I just feels like blue black shadow Luris stuff. Okay. And we have no removal spells, but cast Legion's Landing. I love you too, baby. Okay. It doesn't matter which one we keep. It's completely irrelevant. They might have a mana leak or something here, but if they do, that's okay. No, I cannot pay for your mana leak. We do have double Anthem here, though, so if they don't have anything and get greedy and attack, we can just win the game. Oh, please shock that in. Like, you don't have TBR. Like, what are you really threatening? Like, I get it. Like, yeah, you got a 6/6, but it's like, what am I really like afraid of here? They're gonna get in for 9. Okay, interesting. Cast Force of Virtue. Opponent's debating whether they should counter this or not. Intangible Virtue is also really good because it gives our tokens vigilance. So being able to attack and block in the same turn is very good. This might just be like Snapcaster Mana Leak or something here. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, we're going to cast it and see what they do here. It's obvious they have a counterspell of some variety. Okay. No. I mean, we could have just had lethal there, I'm not sure, but... This allows us to play around multiple blockers. It's also possible that we just jam with 3 guys and then make a token with the Legion's Landing and then go for the Virtue next turn. Is this Dismember? You trying to go to 5 to play Dismember? Yep. Yep. What are you dismembering is the question. The lifelink token? Okay. I mean, that's interesting. I don't really understand it, but like, okay. So you go to 3, we play this, we say go. I mean, you either attack with everything knowing you can kill us, or you don't. Like, or you just like die on the crackback. Kind of feels like our opponent has the upper hand a little bit here, but not really sure. Oh yeah, I should 6 here. I don't have anything to do, so. Our opponent has double removal spell. We are dead. Wonder what their last card is. It's also notable that if they don't kill our stuff, next turn we can just attack. Huh. G2 went 3-0 tonight. How about that? Next turn, if they don't have a removal spell here, we can just attack out, flip our Legion's Landing, and make a blocker that way. Now that only leaves us with 1 mana, so we'd have to do that. Drawing an Anthem would be good because it makes any of our creatures lethal. Targets me. Now they're debating whether they should attack or not. If they attack with 1, we're not blocking. If they attack with both, we're going to jump in front of the Death Shadow. Like, that's the only play. I mean, I feel like their play is either attack with everything here or attack with nothing. Like, I don't see them attacking with just the Brineborn Cutthroat or just the Death Shadow here. Just doesn't really make any sense. We have used less than 5 minutes of our clock, and our opponent has used 16 and almost a half minutes. So you do attack with just one. Interesting. I'm willing to just, like, I don't know what they could have here, but I'm willing to just go to 4 and hope I don't die. So they draw a card on their upkeep from the bauble. We draw a card. It is indeed Sheffet Dunes. Yes, we're going to sack this because they have to have Snapcaster here. And even Snapcaster kills them. I don't really know what they could have here, but... Oh, alright. I can come up with their... Maybe their out was to hope that we did something crazy and punted. We will go first. Our opponent has Lurrus. We have a good hand. We will keep this. Our opponent has also kept 7. Red black. This is more than likely Jund Shadow here. Grim Lavamancer. Okay, we're going to path the shit out of that thing. Have absolutely zero interest in letting that thing sit around. And by that, I do mean absolutely zero. We're going to play Gather the Townsfolks here and say go. Then next turn, we can play Raise the Alarm and play Venerated Loxodon. Or they're going to Thoughtseize us. Either way. Even if they do take a Raise the Alarm here, we can still play Venerated Loxodon next turn, barring they don't have a removal spell here. Jund Shadow, 5 cards in their hand, more than likely they do. Could also just be Red-Black Shadow. They did fetch up a mountain. I don't feel like that's very common, so... They just said go. We're going to attack for 2 here. Put you to 14 and say go. Yep, fetching at the end of our second main phase is a little incorrect there, but I guess it doesn't really matter. They're not going to get punished for it in any way, but I've actually had people do things like that during second main phases that has allowed me to play things and do things that I wasn't going to do because they had mana up. So, targeting themselves. Okay, cool. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Hopefully they don't just say go here, because I did 2 like a moron. So, now we get to 1. Okay, thank God they did do something. Okay. Cast Raise the Alarm here, make some tokens. Draw a land, please. I guess that's fine. We're just going to try and go wide here, I guess. Yeah, Fatal Push 1, take 3, go to 9. Play Servo Exhibition, say go. Next turn, we either have Land Gideon or we have Intangible Virtues to pump up our team and get busy here a little bit. Our opponent's at 8. They're going to play Bobble. They're going to Bobble us, which is fine. And say go. Battle Screech isn't exactly super relevant. I mean, it's a good card, but like it... We'd like to have had a path there. Okay, another removal spell. Another removal spell. And we're still going to get in with the yard here. Like, they're either taking 6 and going to 2, or they're not. Like, or they're going to block. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I don't know what's in their hand, so it's hard to say that I would have made a similar play, but they get to bobble themselves because they can draw off the peatland here, if that's something they're interested in doing. Okay, they had one for the turn. Sure. Bolt during my turn is kind of interesting, or during their turn is kind of interesting. I don't really understand why. Kroxa in this spot actually wouldn't be that bad for us because we can just pitch Battle Screech here, so. So our opponent's got 2 cards in hand here. I mean, they do get to draw 2 cards during our next turn. They're gonna attack for 3. I'm not blocking. I mean, I'm okay with them going to 5 and me going to 13 here. Because our cards are good. I mean, we just need a land. I mean, a land or, virtually anything else, like any other spell in the deck that's not a 4-drop is great. Draw 2 cards. I mean, they managed to have 4 cards in their hand, and they've managed to draw a 5th removal spell here in the top 20 cards of their deck. It's quite impressive, even for a deck like this. And they have a Dismember. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're going to say go. We haven't drawn a 4th land, which is terrible. Our opponent's going to continue to play baubles and draw more cards. Like, they physically have to run out of removal spells at some point. It's just the nature of the deck. They are drawing cards here. It appears that they've run out of gas here. They're trying to make something happen. They definitely want to attack. Makes sense. Death Shadow is pretty good. Raise the alarm. Make a couple 2/2s. They get to draw a card. We finally draw a land. We are at 7, so I mean, it's not like it's wildly crazy that we lose here to a TBR or something. Like, it's just unfortunately taken us so long to get this far into the game. Target themselves. They probably have another fetch land if I had to guess. And they have another bauble in their hand. The Gideon's going to be really good here. As long as they don't have TBR, I don't really see a way for us to lose. We just get to play Gideon Ultimate and just get in with everybody. And they have to have the TBR here. So, like, it's... Because even if we put everything in front of that thing, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll just kill the Lurrus here where we have the chance. I'm tired of them drawing 20 cards. They do have the TBR. Our opponent literally drew 6 removal spells and a TBR. Congratulations, opponent. If you draw like that every game, I don't know how you ever lose. It also helps that we didn't draw a 4th land until like our 20th card of the game. Okay, Auriok Champion's going to be great here. Rest in Peace is going to be good here. Path is going to be great. We really don't want that many. Like, Loxodons don't seem good here. Gideon seems okay to make tokens. I guess we really just want to cut the Gideons. I don't know. None of this seems great, but gaining life and being able to do these things seem good. A little frustrating to lose that game that way. Our opponent drew 3 bolts, 2 pushes, and a dismember, and to top it off, drew a TBR at the end of the game. It's an unfortunate way to go out, but that's what happens sometimes. Yeah, we'll go first. If we do manage to win this one, we have to be on the draw for the last one, which is kind of tough. We're going to keep this. It's not a very aggressive hand. I mean, it has a lot of potential to be aggressive, but our opponent mulligans to 6. We'll say go. Probably going to lead on Thoughtseize or Inquisition here if I had to guess. They're on the Lavamancer version. Bobbles me. Yep, they draw a card. Pro red, pro black. Play our Auriok champion and say go. Auriok champion's a really good card. I feel like some variation of white-black tokens would be really good here. To be able to play Thoughtseize in the board seems pretty solid. And there's probably some kind of black token generation you could play that's not garbage. So, another Grim Lavamancer. Alright, I gotta fix that trigger here in a minute, but... I'm going to play Rest in Peace. Attack for 1 and say go. If our opponent has Tarmogoyf, which is generally the almighty answer to our Auriok champion, it's not going to do anything. Alright, I will take this. I will take this race. This seems like a good race for me. Put Lurrus into your hand, sure. Attack for 1 with Lurrus. We're going to play Spectral Procession here and say go. Yes, yes, yes. We gain 3 life. And then next turn we get an Intangible Virtue. Yep, we're not blocking again. We'll take it and say go here. Hopefully we draw lands. We never gather the townsfolk. I've just got to set that to always yes and always yield to that. He might have a removal spell here, but no removal spell here. Okay. I'm also okay with that. Always yes, always yield. Yep. So, I mean, this is again like if they have like the TBR and something crazy here, like there's nothing we can do about it. Take 4, go to 2, then that's at 11. That's 22. So double TBR is enough to do that if I do that. So we need to. So double TBR here is for. Double TBR here is for 28, which means we need to be able to soak up 5, which is exactly what we have. Okay. Okay. All right. So, I mean, I think the plan is still the same. Rest in Peace is good. Auriok Champion's good. Um, Maybe we want Gideon's just to pump out tokens. Or maybe we want the extra Force of Virtue. Battle Screech is so good, though. Yeah, I think we're just going to leave it the way we had it. Just going to run it back here. Yeah, this hand's pretty good. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, and one Thoughtseize like kind of isn't great, but I think we have to keep this hand. Yeah, we're gonna keep and see what happens. He probably have Thoughtseize here, but looks at his own top card. Yep, Thoughtseize or Inquisition, something of the sorts. Probably take Auriok Champion here if I had to guess. Yep, take Auriok Champion. We draw Legion's Landing. Say go. So, not a bad draw step. Our opponent's probably pretty upset about that. God knows I would be. Rest in Peace is good for a lot of things here. It makes all the Tarmogoyfs 0-1 blockers, which is great. Yes, I would indeed like to search for a land. Now they have a 1-2. They can have a 2-3 here. They can play a sorcery and have a 3-4. It's like I'm actually curious to know what they take here. They get to swing in for 4. Sure. Attack for 1. Puts you to 10. We go to 18. We have raised the alarm here to flash in a couple guys. Our opponent knows that we have Chef at Dunes, so I mean, it's not like we're gonna blow them out with this like super secret anthem effect or something. But we are gonna take 4 here and go to 14. put Lurrus into their hand. Okay. Not the turn I was expecting them to have, but play Raise the Alarm. I mean, if I don't have a removal spell here, Chef at Dunes is lethal. Wow. Okay, yeah. So us drawing Raise the Alarms actually won us the game right there. It's kind of nice they didn't have a removal spell. After the first game we played, it's kind of nice that they drew reasonable hands as opposed to insane hands. Rest in Peace off the top was pretty sweet, though. How's it going? Not good, huh? High and good luck, opponent. Yeah, we'll be on the go first. This hand seems miserable. We'll throw this back. This hand seems a lot better. I think we keep this and put a Virtue on the bottom. I think we want to be able to pump out as our creatures here, and I think being able to put power into play, being able to put stuff into play, followed by Loxodon is really good. Maybe we should put back Loxodon and hold up and keep Virtue there. I mean, it's hard to say what it is. Definitely should have played the Plains there. I feel like it's hard to say what is like what's better. This could just be traditional Jund here. Bloodstained Mire into Overgrown Tomb generally means something of that nature. Sure, you get to raise the alarms. Raise the alarm. You get a raise the alarm. Hopefully our opponent's not equipped to deal with tokens. Most people aren't, as nobody in their right mind is playing this deck right now. At least not that I'm aware of. Raise the alarm. So it's a little bit of a greedy play to go for this, but it's the highest upside play. Do this, give all of our stuff counters. Feels like I'm playing standard. Feels like I'm playing old standard. Okay. The good news here is that Liliana does absolutely nothing against this. Like we sack one of our soldier tokens and we crack in for 8. We flip over our Legion's Landing. I mean, our opponent could also be running like Damnation, or like Drown in Sorrow in their sideboard and just make us cry here. Like it's hard to tell. Like Modern's a very like open format, so it's hard to tell what you get, what your opponent might have lost to when they played last. Opponents aren't always playing meta decks. Um, this is a prime example. What we're playing is in no way a metagame call, but it is very good nonetheless. I'm not sure what our opponent's up to here, but we do get to flip our Legion's Landing, which is really good because now we just get to start generating tokens every turn. Is K Command? Deal 2 to something, make us discard a card? Like, it feels like this is K Command, but I guess it could be something else. Yeah, we're going to discard our Sunbait Canyon. You got us, buddy. Our opponent takes 8 and goes to 10 here. And we just get to start making tokens every turn. Like, flipped Legion's Landing is insane. Like, and it was insane in Standard, and it feels like it's really good in a grindy matchup like this. This Season Pyromancer. It's like, yeah, this feels like a Season Pyromancer. Who You talking to Joseph? I was like, my God. I was like, I thought you were talking to me. I was like, hello. You don't have to address me. You can just say something to me. But that was really funny. Do 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 do. Hopefully our opponent didn't find a removal spell here. I mean, the chances of that are very high, but we'd also like to find an Anthem effect. Like any Anthem effect would be awesome here. We're actually going to crack a land here to see what we hit. We're just going to swing in with the house here. They're probably going to throw the elemental in front of the Loxodon, or maybe they want to trade with a token. I don't know. Maybe they just want to take 7 here. It's hard to say what they're thinking, what's going through their mind. Trade with a token, okay. Take 6, go to 4. We're just gonna hold our Legion's Landing. Like it. I guess before combat we could have played our Legion's Landing, flipped our Legion's Landing, and then done that. Yeah, that would have been pretty good actually. We could have made 2 tokens that turn. That was kind of a misstep there. Our opponent starting their turn by cycling and nurturing peatland is pretty good for us. And they concede. What were we going to draw for the turn? A path? That would have been pretty good. Okay, against Jund. Rest in Peace seems really good. Auriok Champion seems really good. Normally they don't have stuff that I really care about. Loxodon was good in that matchup, but I don't think it's generally a good card. Gideon seems really good. Force seems okay. Actually, let's just cut the Force and just kind of see what happens. Gideon seems better than Force in this matchup because Force is a one-dimensional card, and Gideon has multiple aspects. It can be an Anthem, it can be a token generator, it can be a creature that attacks every turn. Gideon is very well-rounded and has a lot of play, so I like Gideon over Force in this matchup. We also have to assume that our opponent's playing Kroxa, some number of something. Our opponent mulligans. We're going to keep. Second, Rest in Peace normally would be a dead draw, but is really good to Inquisition of Kozilek. So, or Thoughtseize effects in general. Having a second Rest in Peace, which I think is a key card in this matchup, to play around a card that they are likely to have in the first 2 turns of the game, seems really good. Our opponent mulligans to 6. They do not have anything on turn 1. They play a tap land. We're just going to play our planes and say go. Drawing another token generator is really good. Battle Screech is less good. I wasn't considering the ramifications of flashback with that, but it does seem good. So I think we're actually just going to go ahead and get Auriok Champion down here. Pretty much all of their removal is red or black. Bolt, Push, Dismember, K-Command, things like that. Like all of their removal spells are in some way red or black. So Tarmogoyf and Liliana are really the only things that deal with Auriok Champion. And so, all right, our opponent, all right, it's interesting to see from them. So I'm actually going to hold the Rest in Peace because what we're going to do is we're going to play Battle Screech next turn. Always yes, always yield. And then we're gonna play Battle Screech next turn, and then we're gonna flash back Battle Screech, and then the following turn we'll have Gather the Townsfolk into Rest in Peace. So this feels like a pretty solid start here. us being able to play around our own Rest in Peace, ironically, feels pretty good. Really hope this is a Liliana. Um, they are just playing Plague Engineer. All right, make us cry. Is it all right? Now we don't really have a great play with that, so that is a little tougher. I think we're still just gonna cast it, make 2/1/1 bird tokens here. Um, I mean, if he attacks with his Plague Engineer, we're definitely gonna throw our birds in front of it. Okay, we're gonna take 3 here. The Goyf isn't really something we're worried about. We have Rest in Peace in our hand to deal with it, so it's not like we're not super worried about it. Gather the Townsfolk is the worst card in our hand at the current moment. This feels like Ridden 6. It actually seems pretty bad for us because they just get to keep minusing on our damn creatures. Get a land back, okay. Bruh, is this standard? I mean, yeah, like honestly, like that's what I was talking about. Is how I felt like playing Legion's Landing with the Adonto flipped with the Legion's Landing flip was basically standard. So, okay, brutality, just a killer creature. Okay, that's interesting. Um, so we have no way to flash that back this turn because of that text, which is agonizingly painful. They. Hmm. Yeah, this. I'm not gonna lie. This game feels lost here. Um, we're gonna play our Legion's End, and we can't flash that back because you have to tap 3 creatures. And then we're just gonna play our Rest in Peace and say go here. We've permanently turned their Tarmogoyf off here, but the Plague Engineer is going to be the problem. Now, we do have 4 Path to Exile in our deck, so it doesn't seem completely unfeasible that we draw out of this somehow, but... Bloodbraid Elf. Into another Plague Engineer. Stab. So bad. That's probably game. That's probably game. Alright, well, we know they're playing at least 2 Plague Engineers. They're probably playing a third, if I had to guess. Really good draw step, or we're dead here. So we'll see what happens. Yep. We'll just pack this up. This game's over. Gideon would have been an okay draw off the top there. Would have been okay with a Gideon right there. Again, so I think Force of Virtue might be worth it just so we can flash in our stuff to keep it alive. I know that's a weird thing to think about, but actually, just gonna cut the battle screeches because they do make flyers, but we also have no way with Rest in Peace in our deck to flash it back. So we took a hit there that game to be able to play holding our Rest in Peace. I mean, it didn't really change the outcome of the game, but we did take 3 extra points because of Battle Screech and the Nombo that it presents. So I think we're gonna board that one out. Something that might be worth playing over Rest in Peace is Soul Guide Lantern, or yeah, probably just Soul Guide Lantern. Soul Guide Lantern plays around hexproof effects is a reason that I like it. So oh, we're on the play for game 3 here. Our hand is miserable. We're gonna mulligan. This hand is really interesting. So we're really gonna hope that we draw a land here. I don't really think we can win this game on 5. This is a deck, much like Burn, that has to have all of its cards to win the game. So I don't feel like being on 5 is a real way to win the game here. It's a little aggressive, but we're just gonna go ahead and flash this in. We get to push more damage, and we get to play around Plague Engineer better this way. So we're just gonna go for it here. Land, please. Oh, land's a good draw. Drawing a land there allows us to put 2 more 2/2s into play, and then might allow us to flip our Legion's landing next turn, which allows us to play Spectral Procession. So this 6 might have turned out pretty good. If he fetches, there'll be a land in the sorcery in the graveyard, which makes his Tarmogoyf a 2/3. And if he taps out for Tarmogoyf here, we will actually attack just to flip our Legion's landing and then put 3 2/2s into play that can't be blocked or dealt with. So fetching and shocking here is good for us. This feels like a Tarmogoyf. Yep, okay. So I think we're just going to go ahead and play the Intangible Virtue here, if I'm being honest. We get to attack through the Goyf this way, and we get to flip Legion's Landing. And I was like, you're welcome to block if you want to, boss, but... And then Spectral Procession probably just finishes up the game here, unless we're looking at some kind of sweeper. I mean, if he has a sweeper, like, then he has a sweeper, but if not, like, it feels like this one's pretty locked up here. Also, for what it's worth, if we draw a land, we're probably not going to play Spectral Procession. We're probably just going to start making tokens with Adanto, just to try and help, just to try and play around, to use our resources here as we have them. I also feel like Rest in Peace is a really good draw step there. Like, I know we're not playing our Spectral Procession to add to the board, but Rest in Peace is just lights out right here. Like, it makes his Goyf an 0-1. I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't know what our opponent could have, but it feels like that just won the game. I say that and I'll lose. I actually feel like I'm pretty notorious for saying that I feel like I'm in a commanding position and then losing when I play on Moto. It's probably something I should just get away from. Or maybe I should just wait to say it until I've actually won the game. Nah. So if our opponent doesn't have a removal spell, this is lethal. So, but they're playing Jund. They have to have a removal spell, right? Like, they have to have something here. Assassin's Trophy? Yeah, sure. We'll take a free planes. Seems good. Still doesn't allow us to play our spectral spectral procession. Words are hard, and I just went like full retard right there. So I love you, baby. I said I love you, baby. Seasoned Pyromancer's a pretty good draw. If he can manage to discard 2 non-land cards, he can actually make blockers here to not die, um, and potentially draw into something that's pretty good. Discard Seasoned Pyromancer and Fulminator Mage. Okay. Yeah, we don't really care about Fulminator Mage. Like, so we're gonna get busy here. Like, Intangible Virtue is just so good. Like, it's just such a good Magic card. Like, So obviously our opponent still doesn't have a removal spell. I'm actually not going to play into a sweeper of any variety here. I'm actually just going to play into the fact that if they have to play a sweeper here, we get to make a token. So that's pretty good. We could run out Auriok Champion, but if by some weird chance they're playing Damnation or they're playing something crazy, I just want to be able to have the I just want to be able to activate a Danto and have lethal on the board. So, I mean, unless, like, depending on what our opponent has, might just be concession here. They do have 5 cards in their hand, so. Yeah, fetching is good. They go to 1. First, let your viewers know, and then share a chat message. Okay. And they have an 0-1. Okay. I still feel like our play was right to make the blocker, like to make a guy here. So this is actually free. No, it's not. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I cannot count. Math is hard. We don't get to flip our land. That was a huge just puntaroonie by your boy. All right, so we're gonna run out of Auriok Champion here just to try and like seal the deal. And then this way we still have Adanto and Spectral Procession backup. Bloodbraid Elf into I don't know what you could cast. You're probably still dead. Like no, like I mean, unless you like actually hit Drown in Sorrow here. I mean, okay, I take that back. He can kill one of our tokens. He can gain some life. Kill a token. Go to 3. Block. Take 3. Yeah, you're dead. Okay. All right. Thanks for playing. Yep. Yep. No matter what you do, you're still dead here. 2 of these people have 38 trophies. Like, how do you have enough time to play enough Magic to have 38 trophies? Because like it's not like you get 38 trophies in 38 leagues. Like you have to play a ton of Magic to get that. This hand's really good. We're gonna keep this. Plus our opponent's on a mulligan here, so kind of hard. All right, our opponent is really mulliganing, which means it's either Tron or it's Dredge, or our opponent's drawing like shit. Okay, our opponent's on 2 cards. Like I don't know what 3 cards you could have that is unplayable. Like at some point, I consider keeping 3 to 4 cards even with no lands. Okay, well we win a free game there. So we can only assume that it's Tron or Dredge. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really want to sideboard or do anything until we figure it out. So we're just gonna run this one back. The sand seems really good. We'll keep this, and if we need to, we can force and pitch the other Legion's landing. Our opponent's on 6 this time, which is much more reasonable for them. It is Tron. This is going to be a hard matchup. Um, so I think we're just kind of doing this and hope we get there, like, honestly. Like, I know, like, this isn't a great plan, but I don't really know that there is a great plan against Tron, if I'm being honest. I mean, next turn we get to put them to 14 and then put 9 power into play. So, I mean, it feels like we're gonna die. We're gonna lose the turn before we can kill them. So, is that what they searched for? Sphere, okay. I mean, it's also possible that they just have no way to get the other Tron piece. Not likely, but possible. Okay. Um, we're just gonna put our tokens into play and hope it's good enough. No mine. We're gonna keep cycling here. Okay. They do not have a mine. This is good. Green. Into another forest. Okay. 3 mana for Oblivion Stone. Hopefully they don't have a land. We're going to cycle and hope for an intangible virtue. Yeah, I mean, put our opponent to 2 here. Playing Servo Exhibition does nothing for us. Hopefully they don't have a 5th land. They more than likely do, but... Yeah, that means they can still crack O-Stone here. They can get Tron and crack O-Stone. Hmm. So, they have 4 cards in their hand. We know none of them... They're going to crack this here. I mean, they're going to crack it or they die. Like, I don't know, like, what else they're doing if they don't, so... Yep. So, them getting to sweep up everything is what's so bad here, because... Technically, this is lethal. Hopefully their play is like Wormcoil here or something. I don't know. Like, Wormcoil is good for us because we get to path it. There are a ton of bad cards for us here. Like, Ugin is bad. Ulamog's bad. Like, there are so many bad draws for us here. Karn, Ulamog, Ugin, like, I mean, Wormcoil Engine is fantastic. Karn the Great Creator is also fantastic. I think that's just game. Okay, cool. I think we actually snuck away with this match here. I don't know what they could get out of their sideboard for 0 mana that could stop us from doing anything, but... The answer to that is nothing. Yep. We might can activate the abilities of our artifacts, but they can turn sideways to attack. And they concede. Yay! We did it. Alright, well, we finished 4-1 with the deck. I'm going to be honest, I really wasn't expecting a good turnout. This was kind of just for fun. I didn't know what to play tonight, and so I was just scrolling through my list of decks that I have, and I was like, nah, we'll play it and see what happens. Deck was really sweet. I liked it a lot. We had some mana issues and some weird draws at some points, but it felt really good. Force of Virtue is like really good. Battle Screech is awesome. I mean, like the whole deck is just great. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know what I'd change. I don't know. Like it seems pretty good the way it is. I could play it next time and do terrible with it though, so it's hard to tell. Um, I don't really feel like playing another league. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up some arena. I haven't played arena in about a week now. It feels like, yeah, it's been about a week, I think, week and a half. So, pull up arena, and we're gonna play a little bit of historic. Um, and I think I don't know what we'll play. If there's something you guys want to see, let me know, and we'll see what we can put together to find there. But gonna take a quick, probably about a 5-minute break, and then when we come back, we're gonna play some historic. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys.